Do it differently because you didn't.
Sports stars set to be recruited to campaign for the Indigenous voice to Parliament as division grows within the Liberal Party after they announced their formal opposition. Scott Morrison expected to quit politics for an overseas consulting job as early as next month, triggering another by-election. Tributes come in for ex-Australian diplomat Bruce Haig after his death in Wollongong at the age of 77, and preparations underway for the upcoming coronation of King Charles III, with millions expected to tune in worldwide. Good evening. Happy Easter. The federal government is reportedly set to recruit a number of Indigenous sports stars to campaign for the upcoming Voice to Parliament referendum. Reportedly being considered are Adam Goodes, Paddy Mills, Ash Barty and Cathy Freeman. It comes amid growing division within the Liberal Party after they announced they would formally oppose the referendum, with revelations that a number of moderate MPs advised against that decision. Political editor Roman McKinnon has the latest on the ground from Launceston.
There's growing division over the voice to Parliament after the party confirmed it would formally oppose it. Opposition leader Peter Dutton has confirmed he will actively campaign for the no side of the referendum. All frontbenchers must now oppose the voice, but backbenchers do not have to, and we already know that Bridget Archer will be voting yes. We've also now seen reports in The Guardian that three Liberal moderates, Simon Birmingham, Paul Fletcher and Maurice Payne, spoke out against the plan to oppose the voice, but are all now bound by the party's formal position. Bridget Archer, Andrew Bragg, Russell Broadbent and reportedly Richard Colbeck also all spoke against opposing the voice.
What I reflected in the party room was we actually had the chance to do something and we didn't, and that reasonably we would be criticised for not taking action ourselves, and by not doing that you've essentially vacated the field, and you can't say that well we would do it differently because you didn't.
Now, of the 8 referendums that have ever been successful, none had not bipartisan support. This means that if the referendum is successful, it will occur without agreement from both major parties. Like One Nation, the Liberal Democrats and the United Australia Party, the Nationals are already formally opposing it. At a state level, however, the WA Nats are backing the voice, as is WA Liberal leader Libby Medham, and the most senior Liberal in office, Tasmanian Premier Jeremy Rockliff, who says he will campaign for the yes side. We've also now seen the emergence of a new group in support of the voice called Libs for Yes, started by Andy Gordon, who is a member of the Victorian Liberals and a former campaign manager who has run marginal seat campaigns for the party. The referendum date is still unclear, but it's believed it will happen around October or November.
Anthony Albanese has released his 2023 Easter message. In the video, the Prime Minister thanked those working today and wished everyone a safe, happy and holy Easter.
Our nation is home to Christians drawn from all parts of the world and from all traditions. The variety of services, vigils and ceremonies across the Easter period speaks for our nation's diversity. Of course, it's only possible for us to enjoy the long weekend because of the efforts of those Australians who are working through these public holidays. Thank you for your contribution to our nation. Finally, can I ask you all to please take care on the roads at this busy time for travel?
It's his first Easter message as Prime Minister. There is growing speculation Scott Morrison will quit politics after the early May budget. Reports indicate that the former Prime Minister will move to an overseas consulting job, and Liberal MPs have been briefed about him leaving before the end of the year. The move would trigger a by-election in his seat of Cook. At last year's election, there was a swing of more than 8% away from him at a primary vote level, but he still held the seat by more than 12%. Cook has only ever been held by Labor once, back in the 1970s. Now, New South Wales Liberal MP Mark Speakman has been named as a possible Liberal candidate for Cook. Only last month, he told the leader his intention was to serve out a full 4-year term in state politics. It comes amid reports one of Morrison's allies, Stuart Robert, will also be quitting Parliament. One MP told the New Daily he is right now under considerable pressure. His seat of Fadden on the Gold Coast is currently held on a margin of just over 10%. Well, with the final seat in New South Wales lower house call for the Liberal Party, it'll mean Labor will be 2 seats off a majority government. 3 independents have guaranteed confidence in supply. National reporter Austin Pollock explains.
Well, 15 days after the New South Wales state election, just yesterday, the final seat was called. Ryde, located in the lower North Shore, is said to be retained by the Liberal Party under Jordan Lane. It comes after outgoing member Victor Dominillo, who held the seat since the 2008 by-election, retired. He held the seat last election with a margin of 8.9%. With a tight contest during much of the count, just a couple of hundred votes separated the 2 candidates, Mr. Lane and Labor's Linda Housen. As of right now, just shy of 90% of votes have been counted, meaning a winner is clear. Although it is projected after 2 weeks that the Liberal Party, who are the incumbents, will retain the seat, there was a 8.6% swing towards the ALP. Now, since the 2008 by-election, the Liberal Party has held on to this seat, with new member Jordan Lane to continue that, and the 2 candidates preferred the tightest of margins, 50.1% to the Liberal Party, 49.9% to the ALP. However, the count of the final 400 postal votes put the Liberal Party just ahead. But where the Liberals are definitely ahead is in the first preferences. As you can see here, Liberals Jordan Lane on 45.3% of the primary vote and Labor's Linda Housen on 39%. Now, this has sealed the deal for Chris Minns. He will lead a minority government, with the party falling short just 2 seats of a majority. The final state of play in the lower house is the coalitions on 36 seats, Labor 45, Greens on 3, and the Independents with 9. The new Labor ministers were sworn in just days ago.
We do need to get the machinery of government in position, and all 22 ministries will be in post and with their feet under the desks. Well, look, we're really proud to announce that, excluding me, 50% of the New South Wales Cabinet will be female for the first time in the history of New South Wales. Now, we're not popping champagne corks or launching fireworks in relation to that. It should just happen naturally. There's a lot of happy people who are walking into Government House this afternoon, but a huge responsibility for all of us.
So after just over 2 weeks of counting, the final seat in the New South Wales state election has been called in favour of the Liberal Party, meaning that Chris Minns will form a minority government. Independent MP Greg Piper will now take on the role of Lower House Speaker, with several crossbenchers already saying they will give the new government confidence and supply.
Tributes are coming in for Bruce Haig, a former Australian diplomat who's died at the age of 77. Haig joined the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade in 1972, serving in South Africa during apartheid and helping banned newspaper editor Donald Wood's escape from the nation, which was depicted in the film Cry Freedom. He also ran as an independent candidate at the 2001 and 2004 elections. He died in Wollongong after a battle with cancer. Preparations for the upcoming coronation of King Charles III are underway. Millions are expected to tune in worldwide for the historic event. Europe correspondent Brooklyn Caldwell has the latest on the ground from London.
Anthony Albanese will be in attendance for the coronation. As you say, the United States President Joe Biden will not be in attendance, but Jill Biden, the First Lady, will be representing the United States here during the coronation. The King will be rolled out on the Golden State Coach, where he will go to Westminster Abbey for the coronation service, which will be televised across the world. It's expected that billions of viewers will be tuning into this historic event. This is indeed the 40th coronation that has been undertaken here in Westminster Abbey since 1066. Now, as it comes to the selected guests who are attending the coronation, the King has selected 2,000 guests. This is compared to the 8,000 guests that were in attendance with the coronation of Elizabeth II. The popularity of the royal family has decreased since recent controversies have developed with Harry and Meghan, and of course Prince Andrew. And many countries, including Australia, are even considering to take a referendum to the people of Australia where they will decide to become a republic. Now, this is unconfirmed, but Anthony Albanese, the Prime Minister, has hinted in the next term that he will cast out a referendum. Now, we know that in 1953, when Queen Elizabeth II was coronated Queen in Westminster Abbey, She was reigning over 7 countries. Now, in 2023, King Charles will be reigning over 14 countries. The statues are being cleaned, flags are raised, and stands all around me have been set up. Roads have been blocked off and paths are cleaned. It's looking glamorous here in and around Buckingham Palace. It's expected that tens of thousands of people coming across the world to witness this historic event, which will certainly make the memory.
Well, it's been a chilly Easter Sunday right across the nation, and those wet and windy conditions are expected to continue right up until tomorrow evening. Our senior reporter Darby Travers has more from Melbourne.
Good evening to you and all of our viewers tuning in tonight. Well, it has been a pretty soggy Easter long weekend, particularly here in the eastern states. The good news is if you live in Queensland, you are in for a beautiful day on Easter Monday, heading for a top of 27 degrees. Partly cloudy in Sydney, 21 the top there for you. A chilly day on the way in the nation's capital of Canberra, a top of just 15, with those wet conditions heading down the coast in Melbourne and Hobart. Cloudy in South Australia, Adelaide expecting a top of 19. A nice warm one on the way for Perth, and possible afternoon storms in the top end and 32 degrees. Now the good news is those storms have cleared up here in Victoria, and we can though expect the odd possible shower throughout the remainder of the week. So there you have it, Leo, your national forecast for Easter Monday. I hope all of our viewers have a lovely Easter with your family and friends. Great to be back on the weather as well. Haven't done a cross for a while, my friend. But Leo, let's head back to you in the studio.
Darby Travers there. A reminder of the top stories we're following on 6 News this hour, and the federal government is reportedly set to recruit Indigenous sports stars to campaign in the upcoming referendum on the voice to Parliament. It comes amid growing division in the Liberal Party days after they announced their formal opposition to the voice. And there's growing speculation Scott Morrison will be quitting politics after the May budget. The former Prime Minister may be moving to an overseas consulting job, and Liberals have reportedly been briefed about him leaving before the end of the year. That is 6 News for this hour. There is more news 24/7 on our website, SIXNewsAU.com, and on social media. Just search 6NewsAU to find us. More news coverage continues right after this. For now, though, I'm Leonardo Puglisi. Thanks for your company. Good night.
When big news breaks.
It pains me to announce that I have no option but to resign from the office of Premier.